Greetings, celestial comrades, and welcome back to Accretion, a space game with rules of relativity and astrophysics where you can eat your friends. Alright, so last time we learned the basic controls, and today we're going to go and play the Cosmic Environment tutorial, and we're going to learn about the environment. So let's go ahead and read about it. So first, this is an interesting tutorial. It's just gonna front load a lot of the information and then we're actually gonna get to see them in the game. So cosmic strings, they're one-dimensional objects with high energy density and they just randomly appear. They bend space a little bit and they sort of whip around, and if they hit you, it basically counts as a collision. Now, if you skipped the last video and if you haven't done the tutorial yet, so in this game, you're playing as a little, we're trying to get from a little space dust to a supermassive black hole. And we're doing that by swallowing up smaller things than us. And eventually we're getting bigger and bigger. And we get abilities, we get all sorts of stuff. So space-time bubble. So the gray or white outline on a bubble is essentially it repels things away from it. So it can cause collisions. So that one's bigger than us, and if it gets close to us, it's gonna eat us. Space-time bubble with red outline. So this one is a slowdown bubble. Okay, we're gonna go over there. That is smaller than us, we can eat that dust. Space-time bubble with blue outline. That one increases the rate at which things will lose their mass. So that's really useful to get like an enemy in there and then eat them in there. So we currently have 0.053 solar masses, and we're trying to get to at least bigger than the one that's above us so that we can turn around and eat it. But that is a planet that's already halfway towards becoming a star. So right now what we're essentially a bunch of space dust, right? We're just traveling around. And now we have become a planet. Now we can collide with others. So this is where we're the most vulnerable. When you are a planet, but you're not quite a sun. We did, however, unlock an ability. So in the first tutorial, we learned about personal abilities, and this is one of them. We have now gone into essentially an extra dimensional space. And that means that we can get energies from others, or mass from others, but they cannot get it from us, and we can avoid collisions. So this is a really good way to escape being swallowed by something that's bigger than you. But it's right now not the best thing that we can do. Right now what we want to do is we just want to find things that are smaller and swallow them up. We have found a bubble. Which one is this? Oh, it's a repelling bubble. So this is the one that repels things, and it's a quite significant repelling rate, which does explain why it says be warned, because it might cause collisions, because you could get bounced into something and collide. And if you collide into something while you're solid, so you're no longer just a piece of space dust, at this point, if we collide with something, we start to shed our actual mass. It's sort of like if you've ever seen those gifs of the of any like planetary collisions, you can very clearly see how like almost it turns into putty and there's just like a trail of stuff. If you just like Google formation of the moon, that's gonna give you a pretty good example of what that looks like. So what we're seeing here is that other planet is smaller than us, is less massive than us. We don't want to go near that whipping thing. That's that whip that's gonna hit you. And when something is within your radius, which is that longer, the further away circle, that's when it's affected by our gravity, and that's when we can start essentially leaching. Ooh, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna go away. We're gonna do that. We're gonna go away. That's when you can start leaching mass from others, and you can really get quite big. At first, it's pretty slow. This is the slowest part of the game, is the first solar mass. But then you get to unlock way more abilities than just this one phase that we have. And that's that little green thingy that's getting bigger and bigger. That is actually an indicator of how of it recharging this like super dimensional zone thingy. We have 3 of them stacked, and it's currently charging for a 4th one. Now, the enemy stuff does seem to be slower in recharging, so that always means that we have way more abilities than the enemies, but that might just be the tutorials. I'm no master of this game by any means. I've only done the tutorial. But we played it for like an hour. We learned quite a lot. We went from being a speck of dust to a supermassive black hole, so there's definitely a lot that can happen. There we go. Swallow that. Okay, let's see if we can get this one. So they will run away from you when you become interdimensional, but you know, we're faster than them, so they don't have a leg to stand on. However, when you come out of this interdimensional phase, it can be concerning because, oh, we're about to become a sun. Check it out. We are now a star. Can be concerning when you come out of the super dimensional zone because you immediately become vulnerable, and if you are next to something bigger than you, or if you're just within something else, you will experience a collision, and that's not great. So now we're a sun. Now things can get a lot faster, but we're still quite vulnerable because we don't have any ability to protect ourselves. We do, however, have this ability. And so we can try colliding that other sun. There we go. So now we've caused a collision, and you can see that that other sun is dropping its mass quite rapidly, and we're absorbing it. And we're gonna actually immediately switch again. There we go. And I'm just gonna try to swallow up this entire sun. We've basically already doubled our mass. Excellent. Excellent. All right, let's grow a little bit more and explore a little bit more of the environment so that we see if there's any more stuff that we can find. Look at this gang of blobs, though. This is where we do this. Give me all your stuff. Give it all to me. Causing some collisions and forcing them to just sort of bump against each other can be pretty beneficial. There's somebody there that's losing a lot of... Oh, they got whipped. Somebody got whipped. Is that 2 overlapping bubbles? Red is what? I think red is slow down, right? Yeah, red is slow down bubble. So we don't want to go into the red one. We could chase someone that's running away from us into the red one. Let's cause some chaos. Oh. It's very dangerous when you do the orbit thing, which is an ability that we've unlocked as a sun or as a star, because you can make something's orbit so small that it will collide into you, and then you experience a collision and you start leaking. And actually, we turned into a dust in the tutorial when we accidentally hit ourselves with a planet once. So you gotta be pretty careful. All right, let's keep growing a little bit. Ooh, things are getting dicey. Whoa, look at that one. That one blew up. That's a mass upgrade. Give me that. Hell yeah, we've become a bigger star. Oh, did something happen over there? So now we've unlocked a 3rd ability. This ability allows us to collide with things and not get bothered by it. We sort of repair. You can see that shield, that orange shield around that star behind us. It's that ability. We just collided something into it and it triggered it so that it would stop losing its mass. But if we can collide with it again, we might be able to cause it to lose that shield, and then we can do some pretty serious damage. Let's lead it into that blue orb, because that blue orb, remember, gives us... There's a bit of distortion, so it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but the blue orb gives us more mass transfer. Faster mass transfer, that is. So far, the environmental hazards are pretty straightforward. So we're talking only a couple things, right? Oh, there's another blow. Ooh. We've got the different types of orbs. We've got the big whip that collides with things. We've got the bumpy orb, the slowy orb, the mega sucky orb. That's it, I think. All right, let's see what's going on down here. Some serious shenanigans. Okay, but we have some abilities loaded up. Let's see. Some people have been collided with. We didn't get to spin very many people. Whoa! Oh, give me that. Give me that. Mass upgrade. We just became a lot more massive. So what I want to do is I want to burn that shield. And for that, I'm going to wait for my blue bar, which is the orbital ability, to recharge. And then I'm just going to go wild and I'm going to try to smack it with something heavy. Maybe with this thing. Oh, somebody else has got that idea. Okay, let's travel somewhere where there's a little bit more crowded and we can really execute some shenanigans. Okay, I think it's safe to say that things are pretty crowded here. Whoa! Okay, let's just go into mega super space and do some... Hell yeah! There we go, that was nice. Another one. Mission complete! We destroyed... Oh, this game did not update our world rank. We destroyed the other solar massive star. So let's just get the summary real quick. We're going to go back into the tutorial just to get the summary of all of the different things. Because we have only a couple environmental hazards. I kind of wish there was more, that there was maybe like channels, right? That go like this, like a channel that's sort of a wavy channel that gives you speed in one direction. And there could be like chaotic storms that change speed. So you're racing away from someone and then the speed is altered. Things like that. I think that would be cool. Or like rings that are hazardous that cause you to just like slough off a bunch of your mass. But anyway, here's what we have. We have the cosmic string, which is a one-dimensional object with extremely high energy density that just appears in space, have random twists, and they cause spatial distortions and basically do collision. So that red ability that we got that we didn't really get to use, that is what allows you to prevent a spatial collision. Then we have the space-time bubble gray-white that repels you. Then we're gonna have the red that slows you. Just gonna wait for it. There's the red that slows you. And the blue that increases the rate at which mass is transferred. That's it. That's it. And that mass transfer one, it doesn't only affect the mass transfer, but just mass loss in general. So if you're leaking, it affects that as well. So that's pretty important to know. But yeah, I really like this game. I think it's so much fun. I love the super mega weird dimension mode. You just get to go into another dimension and pester everybody around you, even if they're bigger than you. That's kind of the dream, isn't it? I may be smaller than you in this dimension, but I'm just gonna step into the sideways dimension and then I'll be bigger than you in there. But yeah, let's go back to the menu. So, I hope that you enjoyed this video. This was a little shorter tutorial for the cosmic environment and also just through the basics of the game. There's some really cool stuff. If you'd like to see way more gameplay, I already have one video out that was our first impression. It was the full basic controls tutorial. We get to see all of the abilities that you can get and all of that stuff. And if you're interested in seeing more, let me know. There are 3 different level challenges here, and apparently more levels will be unlocked. So I definitely enjoyed this game. So if you're interested, you should check it out. I'm gonna put a link to it in the Steam, I'm gonna put a link to Steam in the video description. As always, it's a good idea to support indie games. in this case, I did get this code for free. So just know that even though I am trying to not be biased, I really enjoyed this game. I wouldn't tell you that I enjoyed it if I didn't. But yeah, just a little heads up that I did get this for free. But yeah, go check it out. It's also, I don't know if the sale is still on by the time this video is gonna come out. The first one that we recorded is on sale, but I'm obviously not gonna have 2 videos out in the same day. So check it out, check out the link. This game just came out, so it is definitely worth checking out now. Invest early, invest at version 100. But yeah, I'm hoping that there'll be some more patches. Obviously, we saw some untranslated Chinese script there, so we're gonna see how that goes. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, you can also check out some of my other stuff. And I have tons of videos. I try out at least one new game per week. And then for the rest of the days of the week, I usually have Let's Plays of games like city building games, colony sims, management games, and tower defenses. I love a tower defense. But also just indie games in general. I love to check out indie games. I love to play all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested, there's so much here to discover. And last but not least, you can also come say hi at twitch.tv/lelling, where I stream 5 times a week. Alright everybody, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you so much. Check out Accretion and stay solidary. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!